there's a clip of Kyle Larson that's been going around. I, full disclosure, haven't seen it. Talking about 1,000 horsepower, all this, but these guys are saying that they could put 750 horsepower in the car tomorrow. And it basically wouldn't make a difference cost-wise. So that seems to be the easy fix. I don't understand why NASCAR is so reluctant to do this. You have your drivers that are advocating for it, and of all the changes, of all the risks that you've taken to try and fix the racing, why? I mean, why do you think, Zach, that there is such a reluctance of doing this? Because this is a sport that is willing to take chances, and they're willing to try. They're willing to try and fix it. They're willing to try and move the needle. When it comes to horsepower, they shut up. I don't know why that's happening. What's your read on just why they're refusing to put horsepower in these cars?
It is really tough because I feel like years ago, like under the Brian France rule and like during that era, them shutting down like any conversation, any driver ideas or any fan feedback or anything, that wouldn't really surprise me. But these last 3, 4, 5 years, I feel like just everything is on the table, with schedule changes and car changes with that and the fan experience at the track and just, whatever it is. I feel like just everything is a possibility. And they've been in a position now for a long time with Steve Phelps and everybody that they're willing to experiment. I think that's been the biggest word that's gone around for a while now is we're going to try this out. The market is there. The fans are there. We've seen what you've had to say. The drivers are thinking this, so we're going to go for it. And I think Phelps said that about the Dodger Stadium and that whole idea that's going around for potentially next year, Southern California. He literally said like, oh, if we're going to try it and if it works, great. If it doesn't, then, well, now we know, paraphrasing something like that. And that, to me, that's been the attitude. And I think that attitude can be positive. It can be negative. I love when we try stuff. I remember being a young fan and we had the same schedule every single year. There was never any changes. We went to tracks that I didn't like, and it was always race 4 of the season, race 6, race 15, the playoffs, the chase at the time, always had the same races, Texas, Phoenix, Homestead, the end of the year. And so I like that it's evolving and changing. But with something like this, I kind of share that same mentality of kind of bewilderment, like why we're not seeing any nudging, or we see nudging, we're not seeing them budge, we're not seeing them move with this situation. And I love Denny's perspective because he can speak not just as a driver, but also somebody who's paying the bills for very competitive cars. So he can go and tell you, like, this can be done tomorrow morning. We can have a test with this type of engine. And it would be very quick and very inexpensive for, I'm assuming, any race team. And, they know it as well as anybody because they're driving the car, right? So they have that seat of the pants feel. They know if they just had this, they can make it happen on that guy. So I don't know why the sport as a whole isn't welcoming or at least open-minded to experimenting with that. They're looking at it more from an aerodynamic perspective and kind of with the tires, though the fall off wasn't there also on Sunday. So they're not going as aggressively in that department. And that's a whole other conversation with tires, right? Because we don't want, what happened at Bristol a couple of years ago, or Texas, or even Indy back in 08. Like, we're still living from those traumas of having races where just we couldn't go through a green flag run because every 20, 40, 60 laps, a tire would go down and it ruins somebody's race and completely changes the flow of what would have happened if they had a proper tire. So they're moving everything, but with engines and the horsepower, they seem to be stuck in their ways, and I don't really have an answer for it.
Yeah, it's strange. And you got guys that are behind the wheel that they should be the ones that you should be listening to more than anybody because they know how it feels. And let's be real, they're certainly the smartest ones when it comes to those changes and what they might need. And they're going to continue to be outspoken. It's just yeah, it's strange that they will not budge whatsoever on that